are going to tell the billionaire class in this country that not only are they going to pay more in taxes, they're going to pay significantly more in taxes.
Yeah, everybody's cheering. All right, taking aim at Wall Street again. Presidential candidate Bernie Sanders announcing a, quote, income inequality plan today, calling for a significant tax increase on companies that pay CEOs more than 50 times what the median worker makes. Here now to react is Karl Rove, former senior advisor to George W. Bush. He is also a Fox News contributor. So, Karl, thank you for joining us. What I love about this idea is that his remedy is to tax, if it's between 50 to 100 times the median worker versus the CEO, it would be 0.5%. He's going to increase the taxes. So he's going to confiscate that money and give it to the government, not to the worker. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, the little man's going to get screwed on this, the little man, the little woman, because these companies that he's targeting are companies in which there are a large number of entry-level jobs, retail, fast food. It's going to be Walmart. It's going to be McDonald's. It's going to be the retail shop. So, yeah, there's going to be a disparity between those very large number of people who have to work to make that enterprise work, to operate, and the management of that firm, and as a result, the median income is going to be relatively low. So compared to say, for example, the financial institutions or big manufacturing plants or oil and gas. So what's going to happen is he's going to penalize companies that offer entry-level jobs, and that means he's going to penalize people who are looking for their first break in life, for whom a job at the McDonald's or a job at Walmart might be their first way into their first entry into the workforce. So let's penalize the opportunity for people to get a job and begin a career. Forget it.
Because what's going to happen is, if you look at a place like Walmart, I mean, the easiest way to change that ratio is to have fewer employees. That changes the ratio.
Right. Bingo.
You move towards automation. You look at somebody like Doug McMillon, who's the CEO of Walmart, because they were saying, okay, so the Walmart CEO makes 1,076 times more than the median worker. Well, I mean, it is a company that has 275 million customers, more than 11,000 stores. He oversees 700,000 employees. I mean, I don't know. He has a pretty big job, but you tax them. Or the other option, Karl, is they can just raise the prices of everything in order to pay the tax.
Either way. Yeah, and a little bit of both will happen if it does happen.
Yeah.
But look, think about this, what we've just said here for a minute. Here is a company that went out of its way to say everybody's demanding a $15 an hour wage. We're going to offer that for all our starting employees. We're going to phase it in, but everybody's going to have that $15 minimum wage. And how do they get, what's the response from Bernie Sanders? Not to say, add a way to go, thank you so much for doing that. It's to say, well, now that you've met that one demand, here's another demand. I'm going to tax you because you're paying your CEO too much, because you've got so many new jobs you're providing to people who are entering the workforce. He claims on behalf of the little man and the little woman, but he's giving them, particularly if they're young, less of a chance to get a start in life.
Very true. Okay, so while you're here, I want to ask you, the Republican Party has reportedly raised nearly $15 million on the impeachment threat. And we're looking at sort of what is the financial impact for people of what's going on, you know, as a result of impeachment. One thing is the massive fundraising. I mean, what do you see as the implications of this going forward? Because both sides are fundraising on it.
Yeah, they both are. We don't know what the Democrats have gotten off of this, but the $15 million figure was like, I think, in the first 36 hours or thereabouts after this all broke. And so the Republicans have an advantage because they've got one candidate and the party organization. We don't have similar numbers from the DNC, and the Democrat presidential field is split between so many candidates.
Yeah.
But it's going to show a persistent strength, I think, that we're going to see as we go into 2020, because the Democrats have got their money divided between all these presidential candidates who are fighting among each other for the nomination, while Trump is able to build up these big resources. His campaign went out and bought $10 million worth of TV ads in response to the impeachment, featuring Joe Biden's speech at the Council on Foreign Relations.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up, because we want to look at, you know, what the impeachment thing, to a lot of people, it's just noise. But what matters is it's shaping who's going to be running against President Trump, and that makes a big difference. If you knock Joe Biden out, who's more moderate, does Elizabeth Warren become the candidate that obviously creates a totally different economic picture. Do you think that this ends up knocking Joe Biden out and is Elizabeth Warren the candidate that ends up running against President Trump?
Well, in my column, I said that I thought it could doom the Biden candidacy, but not for the reason that you think. Not because President Trump goes after Joe Biden over the issue, but because a lot of swing voters out there hear about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden for the first time and say, that's stinky. The vice president's son gets put on a board of a Ukrainian natural gas company when he has no experience in Ukraine and no experience in natural gas, and he gets paid big sums of money. And incidentally, a close associate of then Secretary of State John Kerry gets put on the board before Hunter Biden. So I think ordinary people who are up for grabs in this election, who might favor Biden in a matchup with President Trump, say this is stinky and withdraw their support. And what happens is that diminishes the argument that Joe Biden is the most electable candidate. Rather than going like this against Trump, suddenly he starts going like this. His margin begins to dissipate as people say, I don't like that at all, and I'm not going to support him. And that's what diminishes his candidacy. Not any of the president's direct attacks on him, but the knowledge of the Hunter Biden incident by swing voters and independent voters.
Yeah, and it would ultimately make the actual election in 2020 more of a stark economic contrast for people who are looking at the policies. Karl Rove, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. You bet.
All right.